Attention passionate Atlanta, Falcons fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC South and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Atlanta Falcons' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Atlanta Falcons fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Atlanta, FALCONS, FANS. Let's get to the news now, folks. If you've been paying attention to the NFL buzz lately, you already know that the NFC South is about to get a whole lot more interesting, and the Atlanta Falcons are right in the middle of it. But hold on, because the biggest story isn't just about what's happening on the field. It's about what could happen very soon in terms of trades, roster moves, and strategic shifts that might redefine the Falcons' future. And trust me, this is something that every Falcons fan should be paying close attention to, because it could be a game changer in their quest to contend for a Super Bowl. Let's start by talking about the potential blockbuster move that's been circulating around NFL circles. It involves the Chicago Bears, who are currently sitting at 4-2 and seem to be in a position to make bold moves. Sources like Diana Rossini and others close to the league are whispering that the Bears might be open to trading their star linebacker, Roquan Smith. Why would they do that? Well, it's all about roster flexibility and cap space. Smith's impact on the field is undeniable, elite, all-pro caliber, a true tackling machine. But the Bears are also looking to bolster their offensive line, especially after some recent injuries, and their focus on protecting their young quarterback, Caleb Williams, who's a top draft prospect. Now, the rumors suggest that Chicago is willing to part ways with Smith in exchange for a second-round pick in the 2026 NFL Draft and Nate Landman, a solid linebacker who's been showing promise. This move could free up a whopping $7 million in cap space via Spotrac, giving the Bears much-needed flexibility to upgrade their offensive line, which is a priority for them right now. The Bears' defense, led by Smith when he's on the field, is already among the league's best in interceptions, with 14 so far this season. That's a key stat because losing Smith might impact their ability to generate turnovers, but they're confident that their defense can adapt. Their focus is on maintaining that defensive identity while shoring up the offensive line to give their young QB more protection and time to develop. But that's where it gets even more interesting for Falcons fans. The Atlanta Falcons are also eyeing reinforcements for their front seven. After an injury to Divine Deablo, who suffered an antebrachial injury, the Falcons are actively exploring options to bolster their linebacker core. They're standing with around $8 million in cap space, which isn't a huge budget but enough to make a strategic move. The idea is to bring in a player who can make an immediate impact, especially in run defense and pass coverage, two areas where Atlanta wants to improve, and that's where Roquan Smith's name comes into play. Imagine him wearing the Falcons' black and red, bringing that elite tackling ability, leadership, and versatility to a defense that's already trending upward. Smith, at 28, is in the prime of his career, and his stats this season are nothing short of impressive. As of September 15, 2025, he had accumulated 48 tackles, 2 sacks, and an interception, with a PFF run defense grade of 91. 8. His EPA per stop is at plus 0.24, and he's missed only about 12% of his tackles, which is excellent for a linebacker of his caliber. His ability to disrupt the run game and cover tight ends or running backs out of the backfield makes him a perfect fit for Atlanta's defensive scheme. Now, some skeptics might argue that trading away a player like Smith could weaken Chicago's defense, especially considering he's been their top performer in many categories. But the Bears are betting on their overall defensive scheme and the development of other players to compensate. They're also aware that losing Smith might hurt their turnover numbers, but the flexibility gained could allow them to build a more balanced team, especially on offense. And let's not forget that Smith's injury in 2025, a shoulder issue, limited him to just 82 snaps so far this season, which is a concern but also a reason why a team might see his trade value as an opportunity to get a quality player and draft pick in return. For the Falcons, acquiring Smith would be a statement move, signaling that they're all in on competing at the highest level, with players like Matthew Judon, who has a PFF grade of 88. 9. The Falcons' front seven is already looking formidable, but adding a player like Smith could elevate their run defense from 116 yards allowed per game to around 95 yards, a significant improvement. It would also boost their pressure rate, which has been around 17%, and help get more tackles for loss, possibly adding around 14 more to their total. These numbers aren't just stats. They're the difference makers in tight games, especially late in the season and during the playoffs. Speaking of playoffs, the Falcons' Super Bowl odds have already seen a bump. From +200, they've moved to +100 according to DraftKings, which shows the market's growing confidence that Atlanta is positioning itself as a legitimate contender. If they can secure a player like Smith and integrate him quickly into their scheme, the impact could be immediate. The team's defense, especially the run-stopping ability and overall physicality, would resemble something akin to the Steel Curtain of the 1970s or the legacies left by great linebackers like Ray Lewis. It's about creating that identity, that culture of relentless, suffocating defense that can carry a team deep into the postseason. Looking at the bigger picture, this move could be the catalyst for Atlanta to become a true powerhouse in the NFC. The team has been building steadily, with a solid core of players, and now with the potential addition of Smith, they could truly catapult themselves into the upper echelon of NFL defenses. With that kind of leadership and talent on the field, the Falcons can focus on their goals, controlling the clock, creating turnovers, and shutting down opponents' best plays. And all of this comes at a time when the NFC South is wide open, with other teams like the Saints and Panthers trying to find their footing, making this an ideal moment for Atlanta to strike and make a statement. Now, let's also consider the impact of this move on the team's overall strategy. The Falcons have been somewhat inconsistent on offense this season, ranking around 18th in passing yards per game with 214 yards, and quarterback Kirk Cousins has been doing his part with a completion rate of 66.4% and an average of 7 yards per attempt. An improved defense, especially one anchored by a player like Smith, can take some pressure off the offense, allowing them to play more balanced and confident. It's about creating that perfect symphony where the defense sets the tone, and the offense capitalizes on turnovers and field position. And don't forget, this potential trade isn't just about immediate gains, it's also about long-term planning. The Falcons have been strategic in their roster moves, focusing on building a core that can sustain success for years to come. Adding a veteran like Roquan Smith, who has 5 Pro Bowls on his resume, can bring that leadership and stability the defense needs. His presence on the field could help develop younger players and set a standard for intensity and professionalism. It's about creating a culture that rivals the best in the league, one that echoes the legendary Ray Lewis's legacy of dominance and leadership. Of course, nothing is certain until it's official, but the signs point to a very real possibility that the Falcons could be the team to land Smith. If they do, it could mark a turning point in their season and set them up for a deep playoff run. Imagine a defense with Smith, Judon, and other key contributors working together seamlessly, forcing turnovers and shutting down opposing offenses. That's the kind of identity that can carry a team through the postseason, especially when facing tough opponents like the Saints, who have a potent run game. Falcons' ability to neutralize that threat, combined with their improved front seven, could be the difference maker in crucial playoff games. And now, Atlanta Falcons fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential move? Do you think acquiring Roquan Smith could be the missing piece for a Super Bowl push? Or do you believe that the current roster is enough to contend without such a trade? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Falcons as a whole. And don't forget, I'll be back very soon with more updates, more insights, and all the latest news on your Atlanta Falcons. Stay tuned, stay passionate, and let's keep this Falcons family growing stronger every day.